Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. Today we got a review of Leatherface. Um, this one's kind of interesting. I mean, because people loathe this movie. You know, people really seem to don't like it, and I don't get it. Because I actually thought it was quite enjoyable. Um, but, and there is a but in here. I'll get to that a bit later. The basic plot, it's a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Sawyer family or whatever end up killing the cops this cop's daughter. So he ends up taking all of like the kids and putting them in like a group home type thing. Then you cut forward many years later. Uh, People end up breaking out of the like insane asylum, if you will. I don't even know if you'd call it that. Like this halfway kids home or whatever, and they end up going on like a killing spree type thing and everything. And one of them turns out to be Leatherface. That's pretty much the entire plot. Now, what I'm gonna say here is this: as a standalone movie, I give this a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. It's pretty decent. As a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it gets like a 2. This is a movie that is very hampered by the the franchise. You know, uh, if you just called this something else, if you called it like Origins or something, and like left out the chainsaw part, and just had like like kids that were taken from their crazy parents, and then they end up going crazy too, it would be a really interesting movie. Because really, there's nothing wrong with this. The acting's pretty decent. The the sound design's good. There's some things like there's one part near the end with the chainsaw, and it just looks like a big floppy piece of rubber. But other than that, the effects are good. It has some pretty nasty death scenes that are really quite good. Good levels of gore. It's actually a pretty interesting story, but it fails as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre story. You know, and that's kind of the shame here. This is a movie that gets a lot of crap, and I think, but simply because it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It as its own thing, it's pretty damn good. As a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel, prequel, whatever, it it drops the ball in a lot of places. You know, yeah, that's all I really got to say. Like all around, here's what I'm gonna say. If you haven't seen this movie, give it a shot. Definitely, it's not as bad as people say. Maybe though, I was going in expecting utter shit, and I ended up being quite pleased with it. So maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you have to go in with your expectations like in the basement, and then be pleasantly surprised by a pretty effective little, you know, slasher origin story. Uh, yeah, I honestly I wish they if they I wish they'd done this movie without the Texas Chainsaw license. I think it would have been a good starting point for another like slasher type series. I have a couple of gripes with it though. I mean, one, I don't know why this is. I just found a lot of the characters, their haircuts were like they seemed like modern haircuts, and it was supposed to take place in the 50s, like going into the 60s sort of thing, but their haircuts looked modern, a lot of them. There weren't it just seemed just to be a bit like lazy filmmaking to me. It's like you know wardrobe and makeup shit. So like, hey, let's do something with this hair. You know, some of them had like 50s looking haircuts, and that worked. It fit in. But you know, there's one guy who was like a deputy or something. I don't know. He looked like Ed Sheeran or something with his haircut. It was really kind of weird. It took me out of it a bit. Yeah. So, like I said, give it a shot. You know, just keep your expectations low, and you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. Um, yeah, it's like a 6 out of 10 for the movie itself, though. But as a Texas Chainsaw sequel prequel, it it's not good. Yeah, so double review, 6 out of 10 and 2 out of 10 if you're looking at it as a Texas Chainsaw movie. So yeah, Leatherface. There you go. Well, oh yeah, I just got to mention this also. This was made by the same producers and everyone that did Texas Chainsaw 3D. You know, so it, you know, yeah. And apparently, as of recording this video, they've actually lost the rights to Texas Chainsaw. So any other Texas Chainsaws we got coming out are going to be from a different company. I think that's a good thing. You know, maybe we could get like someone who actually, like cares enough to make a sequel or prequel that actually jives with the others. I don't know. But yeah, you know, take that for what you will. Leatherface, 6 out of 10. Better than you think. That's it for now. See you next time.